Really excited. We've got a special treat for you today. We've got Lauren Boyd from Graffiti Nail Bar, who, if you don't know who she is, you are missing out. Her nail art is ridiculous. You're going to see that today. Lauren, what have you got for us today?
Okay, so I'm doing a color block portrait.
Cool.
And I'm using Mission Control, Caption Polish, and our fun wipes.
Very nice. I think Tracy is going to be the lucky recipient of this beautiful set, correct? Awesome. You guys are going to love this. I'm telling you, this is a real treat. Lauren, are you ready to go? Let's do it.
For this demo, I'm going to use Caption Polish as our base, and I'm going to top it off with Mission Control for our portrait. So I got a piece of our wipes and I tore them in half so I could get this rough surface here because it's multi-layered. So then you take it and you roll it up and you make sure that surface, you got the rough surface, not the flat surface, and you blot it on. And it doesn't, you would think that it would give you an airbrush look, and that's not what we're going for. We're actually going sort of for a splattered look. So then you fade it on up. So we're just gonna be fading colors. So with our cuticle area, you're gonna use onto the next to clean up your cuticle area with your brush so that you can get the color off. And then we're set to paint our portrait. So we have our Mission Control paints. So we have Orbit, Overdrive, Fizz, Clash, Sonic, and Mega Jam. So with the Clash and the Sonic, I've got these two mixed because I need a color between the two. I also have Mega Jam and Orbit because I need a purple. So we're gonna mix these two colors so that we can have an in-between. And as you can see, it matches that color. So now we have Mega Jam and Orbit, and we're gonna mix these two so I can get a deep purple. And so we have it. So because it's a side profile, I am going to start with black, which is Overdrive. And the reason why we're gonna start with black is just because it's our base. And then we can do the color blocking on top of it. Because what you wanna do is have the easiest route for painting because we need to save time and make money at the same time. When you're painting a portrait and you are trying to cover a lot of ground, it's not the biggest deal that you set the brush completely down. The only time we have to change the angle of brushes is when we are focused on thin lines and fine detail. So you pick up quite a bit of paint and spread it over the surface. So now that I've kind of gotten my outline, now I'm gonna fill all of this in. So we're gonna take your big brush and we're gonna fill all of this in. So what I don't do is worry about my cuticle area when I'm painting, because what we're going to do is take our brush once we wipe it off, and because it's gel and it's not regular polish. We don't have to do onto the next. So we just take our brush and clean it around the cuticle area. So once we do that, we're gonna cure it. So to save us a little time, because normally when you're trying to make colors pop on top of black, you need to paint the white on first and then the color on top of the white. So to save myself a little time, I'm just gonna make these colors a little brighter, sort of, with the white so that it stands out just a little bit more than it already would. These colors usually go on black really, really well, but because of the state of the colors, I want it to pop just a little bit more. So when you're adding the white, because you're not trying to make these pastel, you're not adding that much white to it. So just a little bit goes a long way in these colors. So they stay pretty much the same. So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to build one on top of the other, which is what I would normally do. But because of these colors, I'm actually going to color block this. So I'm going to paint them in blocks, kind of like color by numbers. We actually do not need to use the tip of our brush very much. The only time you're gonna do that is when you are painting the outskirts of this. Otherwise, you can just kind of lay it down. So I'm making this point right here around her nose. So I'm using the very, very tip of this brush. So when you're thinking about, if anyone knows anything about makeup, when you think about that, you're thinking about highlighting and contouring. So think about these colors and where they are. These are the highlights because this is one of the brightest colors. Well, this is the brightest color on the palette. So we're highlighting her face right now. When you have so much detail to do, it usually only needs, Mission Control only needs about a 5-second cure. So I'm going to start with another color. We're actually not done with this color, but for right now, for these purposes of highlighting and contouring, to keep up with what's going on, I'm gonna move on to the next color. So if you see me painting over something, I'm not getting the correct space of these colors right. I'm just kind of placing them exactly where they belong because we have so many colors to go. So still highlighting and contouring. And this is a highlight again because it's a really bright color. So if you can kind of see what I've done with these colors is I've basically made her eyebrow right there with that black by cutting that out. So it'll be a little more prominent a little later, but that's basically what I've done just now. So usually I will do all of the super big elements first, and then I go in and add detail afterward. All right, stick that in the lamp. 5-second cure again. Now we are going to contour because this is our darkest color. So if you think about pop art, if you think about Art Deco, this is sort of the same concept with the really bright colors and how it's being used as just color blocking. So that's what we are doing here. Alright, so now I'm actually cutting out this pink and I'm cutting out this green. I'm leaving a little black between the two. And because it's not like super tight detail, I can actually color block this with no problem. Alright, contouring again. So now you can kind of see her face popping out a little bit. Alright, 5-second cure. Alright, so the reason why I mixed this purple here is because depth, really. Because the blue by itself is cool, but to give it texture, I like to mix in a color that's between two colors that I'm using, and I sort of put it on there and blend it in different spots. So it's not exactly blue and it's not exactly purple. And it gives it an added texture and quality to it. So now we've still got some detail to add with pinks and greens. And I'm literally using my brush and I'm going in and I'm just tapping wherever I need it to be, because it's really just spots. And then this is cool because it's not just one spot here, one spot there. Sort of like my salon brand, we're really perfection. All right, so we're gonna go in and try to make her an eye. So when your brush does this beading sort of thing, but when you're doing this sort of detailing, you can actually use it to your advantage. So you can lay the brush down a little bit more when you need to add more to your design, and pick it up when you need to use less and move it around. And as you can see, that bead at the bottom is pretty much gone. So to erase, because I put a little too much on there, I'm going to use the very tip of this brush and I'm just going to take a little bit off. And so now we're going to do a 5-second cure again. So I'm going to use this blue once again to contour, and I'm literally just putting stripes on the lips because all we need is just a little bit, because we're going to add in the other colors. All right, 5-second cure. All right, we're gonna do pink. So what I'm doing is going from dark to lightest. So I've done the blue, I'm gonna do the pink, and then I'm gonna go to the green, which is my lightest color, just to build it. And I'm still doing the striping, so I'm not laying it down very much. All right, and another 5-second cure. All right, so now we're gonna go in with the green. So I'm gonna go in and sort of outline her top lip. And then I'm gonna go in with the stripes for the rest of it. And I'm not covering up anything. That's why we're doing stripes. So you don't cover up what you've already laid, but you can kind of see all three colors. All right, so what we didn't do was put a neck on her. So because she is not a bodiless woman, we are going to give her a neck so that you know that she has something else down there. All right, so a little more detail with the pink. I'm gonna cover up some of this green here, and then I'm gonna go over her eye and I'm gonna just kind of highlight that. And Also, what I need to do is, since I kind of covered up her eyebrow, I can go right back in with the black because it's easier to correct that after the fact. So, and brows are sort of my specialty. So we gotta get this right. All right. And now we are going to go under her eye with the black to kind of define her eye. We're gonna do a 5-second cure before we finish it. So I don't have much on my brush, but I'm going to set it down and I'm going to tap until I'm comfortable with where this is going. So you're not going to paint anything, you're literally tapping. So then outline her eye, outline the front, and we're gonna wisp her a couple of lashes on here. I'm going to take black and outline her entire face. And so I conveniently had some lashes for her at first, but because I just covered them up, we're gonna add them back and finish her face. And the reason why you want to outline your work is because it makes it stand out against these colors here. And that's not something that you can necessarily control when you're painting, because what you're concentrating on is just getting the colors on and not necessarily, oh, I've got to have this black border. I've sort of pushed her nose out with this black here. So I'm just gonna go in and push it back so that we can define her nose again. So now we're gonna add a couple of more black details for highlighting and contouring purposes. It's a piece of art, but to be perfectly honest, it's completely up to you, the detailing that you could put into it, just because all faces are different. So you could really just do it however you see fit. Then you can just kind of have fun with this. We're going to add some black detailing. We're gonna make sure that the nose is carved out sufficiently, and also this area. So what we're doing is color correcting. There we go. So what I just did with this brush was I took it and I basically spread the black where I needed it to be. And then we're gonna go in and make her a nostril, because humans have those. And now I'm going to take away a little bit of the black, just right at the edge. And a little bit of black up there. So we're gonna flash cure that, and then I'm gonna add some white elements, and then that will be it. We want certain parts of her face to pop. So I'm going in and striping again, because I don't want like white blotches, but I do want some white so that you can kind of see where her face is supposed to kind of pop out. So very light detailing, not really a whole lot. That's good. Very, very fine line under her brow. I'm gonna flash cure it. So we're going to use my favorite stain resistant top coat to finish this off. So you can, by the time we're done with this, all of the caption that we've used, of course, is dry. So this can be top coated with the stain resistant. All right, we're gonna cure for 2 minutes. And with every single nail that you polish, you need to cap off every single time. All right, we're done with the design. We're gonna wipe the sticky layer and we are using our cleanser and it's done.